Good morning, one and all. Hope you guys are doing fine. And in this video, we are going to learn about WebSockets. It's going to be a really interesting video. What we are going to learn. So basically, we are going to display live user count on the website using the concept of WebSockets. So before talking much, I would like to show you a small demo, and then if you guys are really interested in learning, you can watch the video. That way, I do not waste your time, right? So let me open a couple of browser because I'm about to show you WebSockets, right? So I'm gonna actually make this a little small, a little bit here. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the link. Okay, so here you can see as soon as I did that, it changed welcome to website live user 1. And if I again open it on another browser, so now the live users are 2, and you can see it's dynamically updating everywhere. Okay, let's do one more. Live user 3, let's do one more. Live user 4. Now, if you see, it's being reflected everywhere. And now as I close all of these browser, after a few, I think it's about 60 seconds or about 120 seconds, it would decrement the count. So the number of user would change live. It's pretty interesting to learn all of this because you would be writing, of course, API, that is a Flask, that is a backend. You'll be using a little bit about JavaScript. We'll be using jQuery to update these elements. And for now, I'm not using a database. I'm gonna mimic this data from a file. So actually, it's kind of like a storage, but yeah, we would learn all of these. Okay, it's gonna be a really very interesting video. So stay, so be with me till the end, and I promise you that this was gonna be a fun one. So it's, as I said, it's gonna take a time, so I'm gonna keep it. And meanwhile, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a project. Okay, so I'm gonna put this here. Hopefully, you guys see my screen. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna on the IntelliJ. Actually, let me actually come here. So if you see now, you see 2 users connected. So it changed. It works, right? It works fine. So what we're gonna do is, first of all, actually, in order to work with this project, what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a new project. So let's start with that. So new project. It's gonna take a while. My computer is a bit slow. So create a project. Let's name my socket IO. So I'm gonna call my socket IO when I open this window. Okay, so that's that. And also wanna open this one as well. Okay, so that's done. Now let's create a project directory here called directory. Let's call website. Okay. So that's that. Let's create a folder called as, we'll do the Docker container and all of that also, load balancing, this, that, app. Want to create one more called templates. And in that templates, you want to create an HTML file called index.html. Okay, so far so good, right? So let's start with the first thing, that is the Python code, right? So first of all, you gotta install a Socket.io. If you do not have that, I would, am I recording this? Yeah, I think we are. Okay, so if you do not have that, if you would kindly go to Google, Flask, Socket.io, WebSocket. So you wanna install that. It should be a simple pip command. Let me leave the links also on the description section below. So maybe you guys can, play with that one. Okay, so that's that. What you want to do next thing is basically we want to import certain libraries and modules, right? So let's do that, man. So what we're going to do is basically, first of all, always, try catch block, and we're going to say from Flask, from Flask, we would say import, and we would say import Flask. Not Flash, I'm on import Flask. So import Flask, and then you want to say import render templates. So that's done. Now you want to import Flask Socket.io. So from Flask Socket.io, we want to import Socket.io. After that, we want to say from basically Flask Socket.io, we want to import emit, and we want to also import OS. We want to import sys, import JSON, exception as e. Okay, so first part is done. Now, what happens is the way the socket works is basically as you connect, right? You would, as soon as you basically go to the browser, right? You are connecting to the, what do you call, the WebSocket, right? So what you would do is basically we would have an events, right? Like a connect event and a disconnect event. So we will write those two events here. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna mimic the data that is coming from a database, which is gonna be from a file. So this will completely make sense if you follow with me what I'm doing. Okay, so let's make test.txt. Okay, this is the file that I have, and in this file I'm gonna create a JSON record with initialize the counter as 0. Okay, so just, yeah, follow with me. This will totally make sense, don't worry. So now let's define the the connect event, right? So we want to say, I think I had to import socket.io. Oh yeah, I forgot to import socket.io, that's why. Socket.io. So we'll say socket.io dot on. So basically, we are defining an on-click event. On-connect event. So we're gonna define here connect. I want to make sure I have the right imports here. Hopefully that should be okay. So we define an on-click on-connect event. So basically, whenever you open that link, right, you're gonna connect to that. So the browser is gonna send an event here. So on that event, what do you want to do? I think we have a typo here. Correct that. So what you want to do here is basically we want to run a function. So we'll say like connect. Okay. Now what we're gonna do is basically, first of all, I want to have a try catch block. So I'm gonna do is here I'm gonna actually read the data from the file that I had. Remember this data, we put a static data, initialize that to 0, right? So we're gonna read that from a file. So open test.txt, read that. So we are reading that data, and then we are adding +1 to it. So 0 + 1 would be 1. So that means one user is connected currently, right? So basically, this is our data that is gonna, we are gonna actually update on the website. So once that is done, what we want to do is basically we want to emit an event. So we want to say users. So we're gonna create this on the client side, user, and we are saying temp and broadcast is equal to true. So it's gonna broadcast to everyone. Okay, so that's that. If anything went wrong, if there was any exception, we would simply say the users count is equal to 0, broadcast that to everyone. Okay, so that's that. Okay, so that was our on connect event. Now similarly, I'm gonna define a disconnect event as well. Should be very similar. So let me know if this makes sense. Disconnect, same, reading the file. When a client is disconnected, you want to decrement the total number of users, right? So I'm decrementing that, of course, and then I'm going writing that to the file as well. So hopefully that makes sense. And we are emitting an event called user, which we are going to define on the client side. As I said, piece of cake. Now what we gotta do is basically all you gotta do is say app.route. So we're gonna define a home route, and we're gonna render index.html. Again, I'm reading that file and passing the counter data to the home route as well, because we're gonna use Ginger templating to display that as well. So that's that. Okay, now what we need to do is on the top of here, we gotta define our app and Flask. So we can say app is equal to Flask, and here I would pass dunder name to it. Okay, so that's app is defined. Now we gotta do a config for secret key. Ideally, I mean, if you don't do it, it's fine for now, but whatever, if you want to put something secret key, do that. Now we gotta create a socket.io instance. So socket.io, right? So socket.io, and we pass the app into it. For the load balancing and all, I'm gonna create a second video where we're gonna use Docker container and Nginx to with basically the socket.io. So we'll learn that all of that. Okay, so let's not hurry about that. Let's understand the basic. Okay, so bare bone connect, disconnect, and we have a home method, right? Now all I gotta do is just run the app, man. I mean, it's that easy. So I'm running the app. Now comes the JavaScript HTML part. What we're gonna do? So come to your index.html right here. And first of all, we're going to import the CDN links. That means Bootstrap, jQuery links, and stuff like that, right? So I'm going to copy that here. Excuse me. Okay, so I have those links here. That should make sense, hopefully. Okay, so these are the link. Now we gotta import the links for WebSocket. So that's the CDN that I'm using. This is the version that I'm using. Let's define a very simple div tag here. I'm gonna call Jumbotron. Let's just say welcome to our website, right? For now, let's not define anything else. So let's try to run this and see if this works. First of all, everything should work. If you have installed everything correctly, you should just see hello world. And I usually open it in an incognito tab, otherwise there's always issues of browser cache. So welcome to the website, it works fine, which is good. Okay, now coming to the index.html, it's very easy. So I'm just gonna define a script tag here because I'm gonna write some JavaScript here. So let's do it right below this. Ideally, I would put things in a separate file, but for this video, it's fine. Okay, we are learning, first thing, just get it. First thing should be, just make it work somehow. And then you develop it, make it more, you understand the concepts and you make it better and better. So first of all, what we need to do is here, if you come here, so we're gonna create a variable called socket.io. Usually this also takes a domain name or a URL for the WebSocket. Since it's a local host, I'm not passing it anything because by default it's going to be a local host. But if you have your WebSockets running on a cloud infrastructure and you want to connect through your front end, which is running somewhere else, you got to have the domain name or the URL endpoint. For now, let's do this, okay? Now, let's create a, what do you call this, h5 element, which is basically going to say live user. Okay, we have a span tag because from using jQuery, I'm just going to change the text. It's simple. Let me give an ID. Okay. Remember, we are passing that data also on the home page rendering. So we can also use Jinja templating to do that. So initially, I am going to do that actually. So here. So remember, it's a JSON dictionary, sorry. So all I could do is simply say counter and I would say data.counter because I'm passing the data. So that's that, right? Because if you see, it's a data, I'm passing data, right? Counter, that's the, what do you call that? Key, and it's gonna render the value on the front end. So initially it has to be 0. I mean, so let's do that. Let's run that. Let's verify that. So 127.0. Okay, 0. So it works. Okay, so far so good. So I'm gonna collapse that. So it's displaying the counter. Now we gotta write the code for our WebSocket. So it should be very, very easy. So okay, that's that. Wait. So that's your WebSocket. I should have written this inside the script tag, that's why. So all you gotta do is now just define an event, right? So basically, let's define an connect event. So I'm gonna define a connect event. So when you connect, what do you wanna do, right? So you wanna, basically when you connect, it's gonna send an event to your backend, which is basically right here on the connect event. So your backend is gonna read that counter from the file. It's gonna serialize that into JSON. Once it's serialized it in JSON, basically we are we increment it and then we emit it outside, right? That's all the connect does. The disconnect would decrement it. Hopefully that should make sense. So ideally connected to the WebSockets, we don't need to print the JSON ideally. So that's a connect event, and similarly I would have a disconnect event as well. So let's do that. Okay, so that's a disconnect event. I don't need to do this. So that's the disconnect event, connect, disconnect. Now all you gotta do is remember, when you connect or disconnect, we are emitting, the backend is gonna emit a data or an event to the user, right, which is not defined yet. So that to that user we are emitting this counter JSON, right? So what we do is now we define that event, right? So all we gotta do is when anyone emits that user, so we are console.log, and all I'm doing is, if you see carefully, that's the using jQuery. I'm just selecting that element dot text, and I'm basically using a JSON.counter. So basically, whatever comes from the back end is emitting pip pip. So we are basically just storing that on the front end. That should be pretty much it, right? Let's do simple. Okay, should be good. So with that, all those changes, if we take a look at our app now, so one user seems like it should be like two users. So let's see what exactly went wrong here. Okay, that's why. So basically, I'm reading that file from the data, right? Once you increment, you also need to write to the file, right? I forgot that. Yeah, so let me add that quickly. I'm like, has to work. Yeah, so I forgot the code to write data. So let's get rid of that one. So after emitting, I have to update the file, right? I mean, otherwise, how is it gonna work? So now I'm updating that. That should fix all the errors. So let's run that. So now you can see 2 users, 3 users, right? And 4 users. So yeah, it's updating live. That was the issue. I forgot to write data into the file. That's the thing. Once you read data, you gotta write data. So that's why it was creating issues, I guess. So that's that. So let's review the concept, what we did. So WebSockets basically used to do, when you wanna develop, what do you call that? When you want to develop near real-time applications, you would use WebSockets, right? So we just have an on connect event, we have a disconnect event, and we have a main route. So what we are doing is basically when you basically connect, we are emitting an event, we increment the counter, and we update it in the file, right? And we just use JavaScript or jQuery to update those elements of the DOM. So simply on connect, basically call the backend event. So basically emit an event to the backend. Similarly on disconnect, do that. And basically when you do connect and disconnect, it's going to send an event on user, and on user we are just updating the DOM element. As simple as that. Okay, so hopefully that concept should be clear, and what I would do is leave the code on the description on the GitHub account so you guys can check it out. But if you guys have any more questions or comments, please let me know by doing that in the comment section below, and I would try my best to get back to you as quick as I can. Once again, thank you for love. Thank you for all. Thank you for all the support that you have been giving me on my YouTube channel. Yeah, as usual, guys, keep smiling, keep coding, and see you guys next time.